Hey, and welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here. Check out the series. You know what to do if you like what you see, what you hear. Hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, doing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover those new ones. Any of the places in podcast land as well. That's a Spotify, Apple Podcast, at NPR, WFPK.org, Consequence, or of course, right here on YouTube for the video versions. But anywhere you get your podcast from, you can subscribe to Kyle Meredith with. That's me, Kyle Meredith. Today, we're talking about the new show Criminal Records on Apple TV+. In fact, I get to talk with Peter Capaldi and Tom Moutchi about this. So let me read a little bit about the show here. Criminal Record, a powerful, character-driven thriller set in the heart of contemporary London. An anonymous phone call draws 2 brilliant detectives into a confrontation over an old murder case. One, a young woman in the early stages of her career, and the other, a well-connected man determined to protect his legacy. There's so many layers to the story. I mean, of course, you get this drama of a crime in the past. Somebody might have been wrongfully convicted. You get generations battling it out. Of course, you get London as the backdrop. And I'm so excited to be talking to both of these actors about it. So let's get into it. We're talking Criminal Records. It's Kyle Meredith with Peter Capaldi and Tom Moutchi.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. What an outstanding series that I've just had the pleasure of watching with Criminal Record. And both of you guys were incredible, by the way. I thought we'd start with just kind of the big question. I feel like we're telling an important story here. You're telling an important story here, which tells many, different parts of it. What drew you both to wanting to tell this, and what was the story you wanted to tell? We'll start with you, Peter.
First of all, I've always liked crime dramas anyway. So the idea of doing a crime drama that also highlighted issues of misogyny and racism, I think was I felt that was a good thing to be doing, because I feel that we live at a time where there isn't enough examination in any detail of a lot of the issues that are surrounding us. And so to do a show that satisfied the appetite that an audience might have for a crime drama with, bodies and chases and guns, but at the same time ask them to reflect on the complexities of how individuals who work in the police force may have come to be the way they are, was useful.
What was it for you, Tom? Because again, being sort of in the jail most of the time, and we hear about the institutional failure, like that seems to be the part that you get to kind of represent.
Mm-hmm. I think for me being as a going through this human experience and hearing these stories, and you feel quite helpless, and to get a script like this where you feel like you kind of aid towards the changing of people's minds through a show like this coming out, you feel like you're doing your part. So I feel like it was very important, when this role came in.
Yeah. Errol, Errol, Tom.
Errol. Oh, yeah, I think that.
I was going to say, playing that character, Errol, to have been like pent up, it seems like this guy has got so much inside of him, confusion. He's not a bad guy, but he's not a saint in any sort of way. I mean, what was it like playing this character?
When I'm in the moment and you're playing the character, like, it almost felt like you just want to blurt it all out. But even me being a young black man, there's situations in life when you want to say something, you don't know how. No one's ever given you the space or the framework or the language to be able to articulate yourself in that way. And it seems like so much has been piled on top of this character that, the minute he begins to unveil everything, it's going to crash all onto him. So he just holds it all in. So it felt like I felt constipated. Basically, that's the best word for it.
Constipated.
Peter, for you and this guy, this cop, it's like, you know, we get sent the emotions all throughout this. Do we like him? Do we not like him? He's not quite the likable character. And, you know, there's a lot of templates for cops. As many cops on TV as there's been probably love songs written throughout the decades.
Yeah.
But you had said this is the type of character that you wanted to play. Why? What was it about him?
Well, first of all, to inhabit one of those classic characters, if you like. There's almost a kind of noirish kind of quality about Hegarty. Like he could have been in a movie in the 40s or the 50s or the 60s or the 70s. You know, there's always a cop who's been around the block and had enough and is a bit scarred. You know, but I think he particularly has ghosts who haunt him, and I don't think he's complete. I don't think he's finished. I don't think his personality has ended growing, and that was one of the things that attracted me about him, because the events of his past and of the show are still having an effect, and also he's veiled. I mean, and that I haven't really played somebody like that before who hides so much. Usually the characters I've played have been sort of quite out there. They speak the way they feel and they throw things out or they shout at people or they're amused or whatever. They can be quite big. He was kind of withdrawn and didn't like to reveal what was really going on. And that was quite challenging to do. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah. To be, again, I'll use the word representation of the older generation in this, you know, arguments between the two detectives. And to hear about, especially as I read about, you know, the show and the press release and everything, like divided London. Like, did you feel that you were the representation of something older in the past?
Yeah, but I can't help doing that because that's who I am. You know, I was born in the 50s. What am I going to do? I can't be anything else. But, you know, I've gone, I mean, it's true. That's a whole other world. You know, it's like, so the world as it is now is new and different. But I've spent the majority of my life, as that character has, trying to move through a world that he knows. I think there's more to him than perhaps some of his colleagues. Who have fallen into traps, and I sort of always felt about him that he was. I felt he was as old as London. I mean, one of the things I like. That sounds odd to say, but one of the things we wanted to do with the show was to do a show that showed how diverse and how churning London is as a city. It's a London that we know, you know, not a kind of touristy London, but a London that we see every day, which is vibrant and exciting, but also a little bit dark and a bit dangerous, but with a deep, deep history. I think that's what he is. He understands London. He's a part of it because he spent his professional life dealing with it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, both of you being musicians, two-part question here. I'd love to know what's next on the music fronts, but also, like, do you find that stuff like influences how you do your acting?
Well, he's all proper signed up and all that stuff. I'm just a guy who likes to play around and
if Peter wanted to get signed to any label or publishing, I'm sure that they will do it. You know, but I guess, look, he just said he was born in the 50s, so maybe there was a different method of how that works.
I've got this thing called skiffle / rockabilly that I want to introduce to see how that goes. No, I'm just I just do that for fun, and I don't want the obligations of being a professional musician. I just enjoy playing around. But music does play a big part in my preparation, and I don't know. To me, it's all about trying to get in the zone. I don't quite know what the right route for that is, but sometimes I'll play some tracks to try and get me there. You know, when we're filming.
Yeah. I'm kind of the opposite. The music takes me out of there. So when I'm off the set and, I need to get back to my daily routine, that's what music helps me do. But I've been out of music for a while, just a few months, but I think January I'm going to release a song every quarter. That's what I'm trying to do next year. Yeah.
Well, I hope we get to talk about that as well. Thank you both so much for taking the time to talk about it. It's been a real pleasure. I so enjoyed this series.
Oh, thank you so much.
God
That's
bless
kind of
you.
you to say.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.